Here we go then, first action of the Kielder Forest Rally 2024. We reached the halfway point of the Protyre BTRDA Rally Championship here, round 4. And as you can see, so far, the weather is dry and favourable for the first of our mini rally challenge competitors. That's Julian Fouquet in the R50, the naturally aspirated Mini Cooper, with Julia Perry alongside. They're 9th overall in the overall mini rally challenge at Rally North Wales. Rob Jones has been upgraded, shall we say, to Julia Perry for this round, and she will be bursting with enthusiasm after the Manx lanes. That's it then, your first taste of action here in Folkestone. Great to have this iconic stage back with us here on the Kielder Forest Rally. Last time we were here was in this very spot was in the 2017 Roger Albert Clark Rally. Bob Beals in the Volkswagen Beetle went off on the flying finish, and we'll be near there this afternoon for our second live stage of the day at around 2:30, 29 minutes past if you want to be exact. This is the first of the day's stages, and what an itinerary we have for you on the schedule today. The killer Kielder ditches are lying in wait for the BTRDA battle, which, although we've got another 4 rounds to go, it's got to be said, is raging. 7.5 miles then through Folkestone to kick us off. 8.6 miles to the Jordan Road Servicing, the Bower stage up next. And the third stage in the loop, the Paderborn Forest Escapes Shepherd's Shield stage. 5.2 miles. 42.2 miles in total today. And the finish is back at the auction mart in Hexham at around 4 o'clock, or just after, if you do want to get down there to watch the cars back to the finish. Obviously the leading crews will be back a bit later than that. We're running in 2-wheel drive reverse seeded order, running straight into the main 4-wheel drive field in correct seeded order after that. Are you following? Good morning, I'm Paul Woodford. Welcome to Special Stage. We are delighted to be live with you once again here in Kielder Forest for the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. We hope you've enjoyed a leisurely breakfast, and now you're looking forward to kicking back and having a day of live rally TV action from the BTRDA. A smaller than usual contingent on the entry this weekend, but it has to be said, a big pat on the back to the organisers here at the Kielder Forest Rally for getting this event underway, because there's a lot of balancing to be done, not only the books, but the numbers and the logistics when you have a smaller than usual entry. But they have got it underway, and we are so pleased because these are iconic stages, and the championship will be sadly lacking without them this year. So fair play to the organisers. As you can see, the Mini Rally Challenge, which continues to provide fantastic entertainment for its competitors, is also doing the same for spectators. Jack Birch, Mike Jode, firing their little R50 Mini Cooper into this downhill, quite fast right-hander, deceptive though. About a mile from the end of the stage here. They come here second in the R50 category of the Mini Rally Challenge, which is the first step on the ladder, if you like. And then you have the R53s, which are the supercharged Mini Cooper S cars. One of the most accessible ways to go rallying in the UK, or dare I say it, dare I be as so bold as to say in the world. And build a car for 5-6 grand an R50. I think you can certainly buy one for around that kind of money. Tyres are, well, on the tarmac grounds, 40 or so pounds, thanks to the deals done. Jack Birch had a dominant performance on the Manx until suspension and gearbox failure called it a day. Andrew Downward, though, downward by name, downward by nature, with the back end out going downhill here in Folkestone, with James Coutts alongside in his first season of rallying, which is what this Mini Rally Challenge is all about. He comes at 8th overall in the Mini Rally Challenge at Rally North Wales. This is the producer Wayne is looking confused, says it sounds like he spun. I think he was just pushing it and kicking the back end out everywhere he could. Kielder Forest stages is Andrew's second ever rally in that little R50 Mini Cooper. And what a great way to go rallying it is. So the 42.2 stage miles that make up the Kielder Forest Rally, the Mini Rally Challenge crews will do half of those. It makes it more accessible, a bit more cost effective. It means we'll only have them for the first loop here. So this is the only taste of the action you'll get on Mini Rally Challenge live on special stage today, so do enjoy it. Let's talk about Andrew Watson with Philip Dean alongside in the R53 Cooper S. You can hear the different exhaust note, can't you? Not registered for the Mini Rally Challenge in only his first season of rallying. He scraped a top 10 finish at Brands Hatch at the winter stages and retired from the Raponian Forest Rally up in North Yorkshire, down in North Yorkshire from geographically where we are right now, not too far down there. And perhaps should be joining in, throwing his hat in the ring for the Mini Rally Challenge, because he's one of the only minis here today not registered for this exciting series, which does join us at various points during the season on both the Protyre BTRDA Gravel Rally Series and the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Special Stage and welcome to a fairly mild and midge fest of a Kielder Forest. We're being eaten alive here. I'm Paul Woodford. I've got producer Wayne Goldring here on the camera, and then Sam Leonard is on a second camera for our TV show, the Special Stage Rally Show in association with the Mini Rally Challenge, which you'll be able to see on the first Friday of next month. As I talk, that date has not come to me, so the first Friday will do it. We hope you enjoyed the last one. I'm hoping to cram a bit of action from Rally Barbados into the next one as well, so a bit of extra downforce, shall we say, on Gary Jones' Mini. Matthew Jones alongside. Perhaps it's just a strategy to get rid of the midges. We were discussing perhaps leaving every window open on the way out of the stage just to get some airflow in and get rid of these things. Maybe Gary and Matthew are doing just that. They retired on Rally North Wales with a broken gear linkage. This is their first visit to Kielder, but they come here 10th on the championship leaderboard in the R50, the first step of the ladder in the Mini Rally Challenge. There, though, is your leader in the R50 class. In the Minis, that's Wes Guilford, Andrew Millington alongside. Had a really good performance and a good managed drive on the Manx. The cooling issues stopped them from taking a podium, but when you've got issues like that on a rally like the Manx, fair play for getting the car to the end and deciding that discretion is the better part of valour. That is how you win championships, ultimately, and that is why Wes Guilford and Andrew Millington come here leading the R50 class. To remind you, if you're just tuning in, we're going to go reverse seeded order on your entry list here on the Kielder Forest stages. Two-wheel drive, reverse seeded, and then when we get to the four-wheel drive field, it switches and it goes in correct seeded order. Matthew Hurst, Declan Deere will be leading the billing there. There's Paul Green, Dave Robinson, pushing it as wide as you like. And this will be a 3, right, will it? Down a hill, tightens though, and it's off camber as you come around here, so you don't want to be pushing too hard. We're going to see some ditch hucking here. We are going to see some rear tyres in the Killer Kielder ditch going down the hill here, I am sure. We almost did just now, didn't we? The Manx was actually Paul's first closed road event since 2001. Paul took a don't cut as a cut, which basically means he's just a fully fledged rally driver. If you take a cut when you're not meant to take a cut, that's like saying you've got to have an Alfa Romeo before you're a petrol head. That makes you a rally driver. Just ask Callum Black. The less said about that, probably the better. The title fight for the Gold Star here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series really has come alive this season. We're looking forward to seeing how it plays out here, because we've got a whole host of crews. Elliot Payne, Patrick Walsh are out in front after that dramatic engine failure. They come here raring to go, leading the championship. You see Gareth Humphreys, Adam Burkill through. First of the R53 Mini Rally Challenge competitors here on the entry, reverse seeded order to remind you. They were the second R53 on the Manx. They come here leading the R53 category of the Mini Rally Challenge. You know, whenever I think of Adam Burkill, bless him, he's going to regret this, I think of his post at the end of last year after Cadwell, thanking his mum for washing his smelly ... That's when it cut off and it said, click here to read more. It just said race suit. But thanks, Mum, for washing my smelly ... And it's funny how these little things, these little moments just stay with you. You remember how you feel, don't you? Not what happened. And I remember chuckling away at how Facebook had decided to cut off Adam Burkill's post thanking his mum last year. Sorry, Adam. I could have talked about your many good performances in the co-driver's seat that season, but that's the moment that stands out for me. So Elliot Payne, Patrick Walsh do arrive here with 2 maximums and 1 second place, puts them unsurprisingly at the top of the points table. I'll tell you what, Matthew Hurst, Declan Deere have got 1 victory under their belt. They'll be pleased to have had that, but that Rally Nuts 7 Valley Stages win for them was massive. Puts them right on terms in the championship. John Day, Paul Stringer there. 5th in the R53 category coming here. As far as the Mini Rally Challenge is concerned, they had a jack failure on day 1 of the Manx, resulted in John using his joker for day 2, rearing in a haul of points. And there's Tom Hind, Sue Hind alongside. Lovely couple who really enjoy this championship. We saw Tom in a very different car in the Fiesta Rally 2 at the Jim Clark, and was telling me he couldn't wait to try out his own car on gravel. He borrowed one for Rally North Wales and was quite verbose in his thanks for those who helped him get out onto the gravel before his car was ready. I tell you what, he's been working the brakes on hard on that one. Smell of hot brake pads as they go past us. Producer Wayne just inspecting the number of midge bites on the back of his hands. Yeah, wishing I'd tucked my shirt in. I won't go into detail, but it's fairly uncomfortable here. So Matthew Hurst, Declan Deere are fighting for the BTRDA series title this year. They are our reigning Welsh Rally champions. They would love nothing more than to add a BTRDA rally title to their haul of trophies. Russ Thompson, Stephen Link continue to impress us in that B13 Evo, the first of the trips into a killer Kielder ditch, but getting the power on and just keeping the momentum going for Jacob Neal and Russell Thompson. They love ditches. Did you see their video from the Isle of Man when they said they went off a cliff? It wasn't quite a cliff, it was more of a ditch like that, wasn't it? But they do like doing that. They are our current reigning R50 champions, stepping up to the R53 crash. Sorry, that was Freudian slip, wasn't it? Class this season. And giving us our first taste of what could be to come, and taking the marker off the post in the process. But managing to get it going, and that will be just an early wake-up call for the pair. I say early, they are 7 miles or so into this first Falston stage here on the killer Kielder roads at the Kielder Forest Rally, so they've left it late for their early morning wake-up call, haven't they? Daniel Sigurdsson and Asta Sigurdartia, another Rally 2 Fiesta in with a fight of the title this season, stepping up from the B13 class for them, and another crew stepping up this season, but from the R2 class. Liam Clark, Emily Easton Page. What a result for them on the Border Counties, the podium. They've got so quick in that car in such a short space of time. There's Alistair Crawford and Greg Halfpenny in the Escort in Class 2. This is their first year of rallying. It's that Total-esque livery on the Mark II. Looks lovely, doesn't it? They started their season with a roll at Knock Hill. Since then, they've had 3 top 10 class finishes in that Escort, on gravel and on asphalt, so going well. Got to say, though, these guys should all be registering for the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series, because then we can tell their story in a little more detail. Our story today is, of course, of the championship crews, but as always here on Special Stage Live, we will be bringing you coverage and action from every single crew on the entry. But the story really is about those championship fights right through the order. We'll come to a few more of those in just a moment. Firstly, a very important announcement. Tim Rogers has announced this morning's breakfast plans. Now, his sister-in-law's in Essex this morning. Croissants, But sadly no jam because Auntie Rachel forgot the jam. I'm not sure what the local delight is in Essex. I'm not sure croissants are a local specialty though, so Tim Rogers will eggs royale, no doubt. Tim with a couple of Fiesta ST trophy cars, Becky Kevin Rogers' car and another one that he bought locally that he's trying to turn into one and get back out rallying with. That'll be good to see very soon. There's almost a threat of me being in the co-driver's seat at some point as well. As you see, our leader in rally first, 2 litre, coming here after a first, a second and a DNF. Giles Armitage, Josh Rhodes in the 205 GTI. This is their first visit to Kielder, a baptism of fire wherever that arrives in your career. 3rd season of rallying, in a straight fight for rally first honours with Martin Beach also in the 205 GTI. The Orange Army, our very highly valued marshals here, getting those posts put back up after Jacob Neal decided to take them out. There's Will Armitage, second of the cars in the team. Jeremy Pole alongside 8th in the Silver Star standings, coming here 2nd in the B11 class. And they had a top 10 in the Silver Star last time out, getting them into that 8th position on the leaderboard. They took a top 10 in Silver Star in that 306 S16 last year as well. This is only their 2nd time in Kielder. Those ditches are looking awfully inviting, aren't they? We've had our first taste of those this morning. So we mentioned Russ Thompson, Stephen Link out in front of the B13 class, but Pat Naylor, Ian Lawrence are back in the series, and they are our former, of course, Production Cup winners here in the BTRDA. They are keeping them honest. Not quite a title fight just yet, but watch this space. Another name to mention, Viv Hamill. Fantastic performance to start the season on the Malcolm Wilson rally. Surprised us all to come out of the blocks and take 2nd. 2 DNFs after that, but the point system allows for that not to be such a disaster. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in that Polo GTI R5 for the rest of the season. There's Lynn Davies, Aled Edwards. I saw a picture of that car on Facebook last night, ready to go. They were pretty pleased with their efforts to get the car ready, and it does look nice, doesn't it? Not registered for championship points, but here's a fact for you. Started rallying in 1990 in a Talbot Sunbeam TI, did Lynn, on the Virgo stages at Eppins. Imagine doing Eppins as your first ever rally. There's James Grattan-Smith. Hasn't finished one, well, he's only, I've got to be fair, he's only started one rally this season so far in that MG ZR in the B11 class, but it was a DNF last time out on the Border Counties rally. Normally co-drives for Baz Jordan. It was pretty handy with an Escort G3 back in the, was that the mid 20-teens, wasn't it? Do we call them those? The bit between 2010 and 2020. It's a 20-teen, isn't it, Wayne Goldring? How are you getting on with these midges?
Terrible.
Well, you're all right. I'm holding 3 things. I can't itch. At least you've got spare hands in between cars. I literally can't itch. If I itched, you'd all hear me do it because I'd have to do it with the microphone, and then Wayne would tell me off. Anyway, if we're not careful today, Rally TV live here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series will turn into Midge Watch on special stage. I've turned into something of the David Attenborough of the rally world recently, haven't I? I've tried my best anyway with rally dogs and rally sheep, rally monkeys last time out. So this weekend we've got rally midges. Here's a man who was very for this weekend in a brand new car. We wondered why we hadn't seen him. He's been busy getting that car fettled since he bought it back in February, stepping up from the 1400, well, actually from the rally first class, isn't he, to 1400S, about 140, 150 brake horsepower in that MG ZR. It's very well prepped. That is Luke Watts, Ryan Taylor alongside. No scores on the board so far this season, but he's back. Did the North Road Garage Showground stages at Bill Thwells, I think that is, isn't it, at the Showground. Single venue, took 5th in class. This is his first BTRDA event this season, and now we know why. Bit of a sad, frustrating story on the lead up to the event. Having got the car ready and had a new set of wheels and tyres all lined up, they were stolen from where the car's being prepared. That was a bit of an appeal on Facebook. I did joke, it's not very tasteful to joke in these circumstances, that stepdad Nigel perhaps might give him his wheels back after this event if he doesn't beat him in the NJ Auto Repairs Vauxhall Nova, but far be it from me to joke about such things. It is awful when that happens. But great to see the new car out. It looks fantastic, and those two are really fired up. Roger Nevitt, Ben Wild there in the Class 6 Fiesta. Not registered for points this season, but stepping up from 1400C into the R2 Turbo in 2018. They did the BTRDA R2 Rally Cup that year. I haven't seen them back on the points standing since then, but good to see our former BTRDA R2 Rally Cup competitors out here on the Kielder Forest stages, perhaps next time, chaps. Luke sent me a message earlier in the week saying, please don't bully me on the live stream. I think that's a bit unfair. I mean, it wasn't me that announced to the world that his nickname growing up was Mummy's Little Squirt. It still is, by the way. Kaz Jenkins in with Nige Jenkins, Luke's mum. But while we've got a gap in the cars, I should really probably find something to bully Luke about, as he asked me not to this week. That's a fool's errand, isn't it? Did tell him I wanted him to bring a rally monkey to this event, and he told me he tried. I wouldn't like to think what he did to try that, so a bit of Photoshop had to come in handy after scrutineering last night. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Seriously though, if you do get offered any, I think there's Speedline wheels with brand new rally tyres on, do flag it up, especially if they're a little bit cheaper than you might expect. We need to look after each other in this sport, and there are some doing the rounds somewhere which have come off Luke Watts' rally car. He would quite like them back, and we would all like to get them back to him if we can. And if you stole them, you, sir, madam, are a scumbag, and you have no place in our sport. It's as simple as that. If you're just tuning in, I'm sorry you had to listen to that as you just tuned in over breakfast. Bit of a late breakfast if you are, mind you. This is special stage live coverage of the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. It is round 4, the championship reaching its midway point in that title fight. And we're currently watching the reverse seated order two-wheel drive field here on the Kielder Forest stages. The Tuts Clump proper cider crew out in force this weekend and in a killer Kielder ditch. And we've got an interesting selection of cars here and an interesting and very skillful bit of avoidance there. And that was all manner of things we didn't want, wasn't it? Michael Jenkins, Jordan Joins getting the Ignition Motorsport Fiesta fired back up. They're going to use every bit of the power on that diff, a little bit of bodywork flapping at the back. They'll be frustrated with that, but they live to fight another day. Ed Abbott, Oliver Marshall, fantastic story about that. Jaguar XJS just pulling in to let Dale Glover and David Smalley pass in the Alpha Sud TI, who weren't expecting to then come around the corner and see Michael Jenkins and Jordan Joins in the ditch. No time for the marshals to warn or do anything at that point. So very good avoidance and some good skill and awareness from all of those drivers just then. A bit of a busy moment here with Michael Jenkins and Jordan Joins just teetering on the edge of that killer Kielder ditch. There is a competition running on the Ignition Motorsport social media this weekend to win a case of special stage, yes, special stage cider from Tuts Clump proper cider, and also a gravel rally test experience with the crew, an authentic rally experience. That's worth doing. Check out their page for that. As you see, Ernie Lee, Patricia Lee, last time out at the Jim Clark Reavers, it was a DNF, an electrical gremlin for them. But Ernie does like Kielder, 100% finishing record here. Not out of a class top 10 in 3 years. First chance the marshals have got to put the furniture back. That sign is going to take some bashing today, I think, isn't it? Moment just there, if you were watching that like me, you were probably just heart in your mouth for just a moment as Dale Glover and David Smalley fishtailed that Alpha Sud past the stricken Fiesta. Wow. We're all wide awake now here in Kielder, aren't we? Ed Abbott, Oliver Marshall, by the way, it's Ed's first stage rally for a lot of years. He used to rally back in the 60s in Austin 840. 70 years old. He was a test driver for Jaguar back when the XJS was a development prototype car all over Europe, and now here he is rallying one. I did say it was a debut for the car in a video I did last night in stage rallying. Apparently, 80s in Ireland, there was a XJS rally once. Someone pointed out to me on Twitter. Twitter's good for pointing out where you're wrong, isn't it? Not for much else at the minute, it would seem. But it's fantastic to see Ed Abbott and Oliver Marshall getting out in that XJS. They've been doing hero events like the classic Monte Carlo event, sort of road targa type events. But it's the 50th anniversary of the Jaguar XJS, the car brought out to replace the E-Type. And at the time, it really upset everybody because it wasn't quite as dramatic or theatrical as the E-Type, but a fantastic car and just took refinement to a new level with the most beautiful floaty V12 engine you've ever heard or experienced. If you've ever driven one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Great to see that car out, and a fantastic story. Do check out the little video I did last night at the scrutineering with the car, telling a bit of that story. David Coatsworth, Chris Patterson going through in the MG. And there's Chris Bush. And Robert Chicken Jones. Still don't know to this day why he is called Robert Chicken Jones and why there is a chicken in the car. Servicing with the Ignition Motorsport crew. Coming here 10th in the Bronze Star, 7th in the 1400S class. After 2 DNFs to start the season, Malcolm Wilson and Rally Nuts, and a 3rd place in Bronze Star last time out of the border counties, getting that championship campaign back on track. He hopes, and we hope too, for that fight and that entertainment we're looking forward to in the latter part of this season. We go into the second half, to remind you, after this 4th round, the Kielder Forest Rally. First visit to Kielder though since the Carlisle stages in 2018 for Chris Bush in that Corsa. An unusual choice of rally car, particularly in Rally First. Always good to see them out. And here's another crew who bring a bit of variety to the proceedings and already on a big push and just trying their best to take that sign back out that's already been down twice so far today. Paddy Homan, Tom Homan, they were 2nd in the Bronze Star last time out. Didn't do the Malcolm Wilson, but were 7th at Rally Nuts. That leaves them 4th in the Bronze Star, the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Star category, the 1400 category here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. And they were also 4th Bronze Star on last year's Kielder Forest Rally. They spent the 2022 event, though, stuck in one of these killer Kielder ditches. They know what that feels like, so it was surprising to see him aiming the rear quarter panel of that 1400 Ford Puma towards the ditch here, a mile from the end of the first stage, this Falston stage, which is back on the Kielder roster for 2024. We are literally being eaten alive by midges here. I know that's not very exciting radio, but it is the case. I was wrong about the tequila thing, though. I said on the stage at the finish of the Rally Barbados a couple of weeks ago that nobody would be handing me a tequila in Kielder Forest. I was wrong. John Aston in the safety delegate car did just that. Mick Smith, Emma Cooper in their Micra. Emma normally in with Lucy Weekly on BTRDA event. Oh, there we go. Ashley Francis Adams and Dan Petrie alongside. This time he appears on the entry list and I've got lots of red exclamation marks so I don't miss him, because normally he just appears on a rally and then Michelle tells me, his mum tells me off for not mentioning him. Well, we nearly had a bit of time to have a chat there, didn't we? Because they nearly stuck it in the ditch. Ashley took a decent result in last year's Kielder with Lucy Wilding alongside. They were 5th in the Bronze Star, and you can see why. Throwing that little 1400S Micra around in its old Nissan Motorsport colours. This made me laugh. Wayne, you'll like this. Michael Jenkins, he's doing a video. I did a video with a few people in service last night. Where do you like to drink your special stage? Tuts Clump proper side. He just sent me a message on Instagram after that moment where we saw him sat in the ditch, and he's just said, I like to drink my special stage Tuts Clump cider in a ditch. A sense of humour and a chance to pull over after the stage to catch his breath and send me a message on Instagram. Fair play. Mr. Jenkins, who had his wife Alex in with him on the Abingdon Carnival stages recently, and I've got to say, she is awesome. She was having a lot of fun inside that car, and there's a bit of in-car with those guys on Facebook. You've got to check it out because it's absolutely wicked. She's a lot of fun, and they just look like they had so much fun together in that car, which is fantastic to see, isn't it? I think the stories I hear from my mum and dad is that they used to fall out when the mum was co-driving for dad. He used to ask if she was sure. Well, all Alex did was wail and have a ball on the Abingdon Carnival in that Fiesta R2. Dylan Fowler-Bishop, Dan Evans, I digress. Come here third in 1400C, 14th in the overall Bronze Star standings. Their second visit to Kielder. They took the lowest Bronze Star result of the season on the last rally out. There's a car we were expecting to see a little earlier. Matthew Stroud, Joel Wharton. First year of rallying, 2 podiums so far, rolling a little bit back on the road in that Mark II. I always like these little facts when I'm doing my prep for rallies, and I like looking at people's careers where they've only ever been in one car for an entire career, which is quite unusual. We've got quite a few of them here this weekend. So perhaps I've just proved myself wrong. It's not that unusual, but mostly that will be an Escort, yeah? That's what we usually see. Because if you start in an Escort, it tends to be, unless you've got ambitions to move the way up the ladder and you have to jump into front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive or whichever drivetrain your route through the sport takes you, you tend to stay in an Escort if that's what you're doing. But we've got 2 drivers this weekend who started in a Chevette and, well, have stayed in a Chevette as well. One of whom, and we'll come to him, started back in the heyday and did the RAC in a Chevette. But this should be, my notes are correct, Andrew McCormick, and it is Rudy Tate alongside. Sounds lovely, that, doesn't it? So strong. The sound of that. I'd like to think it's a Bill Blyden sign engine inside there. It might not be, but the sound of that Chevette HSR engine banging through the trees. Hasn't quite been in a Chevette HSR as long as Anthony Hansen, who we will see from shortly. Looking forward to that. But started in 2009. It is Andrew's first visit to England for a rally is this year after 2 top 10 class finishes in Northern Ireland to start the season. There's Will Banks, Matthew Baddeley in the Nova. They come here third in the Bronze Star standings. They took a podium to start the season at the Malcolm Wilson Rally, just off the podium at the Rally Nuts Severn Valley, and then it was a DNF last time out on the Border Counties, but they're leading the 1400C class in that well-prepared little Nova, and you may have seen my picture at the Rally Nuts Severn Valley with the rally dog, Dennis. Well, I've got to say, Will, when you're watching this back later, or service crew if you're watching now, Dennis is spelt wrong. You'll give him a complex. I noticed I called him Dennis with 2 N's. I know this isn't very rock and roll, okay, just bear with me. And actually he's spelt Dennis with 1 N. That's like the Blondie pronunciation of Dennis. That's Denis. Denis, is he French? Anyway, we like rally dogs here at Special Stage. We like giving away prizes as well. I'll tell you more on that in just a moment. Alfie Hammond, Phil Boyle had a big crash on last year's Kielder Forest Rally. It hasn't done anything to knock the confidence, though. Third in the R2 Rally Cup coming into this round. They took second place to start the season. They'll be delighted they did that because they didn't manage to arrive to start either of the last 2 rounds, dropping 2 scores, but the championship point system allowing them to do that and still be in the championship fight. They stepped up to the R2 Rally Cup, to remind you, from Rally First 2 litre. If you've been keeping up, you will know that. Last season, showing some real pace at the first round as well. So about that prize then, well, we have another one of our Rallying is Life, Rally TV, Money Can't Buy Special Stage T-shirts to give away. All you've got to do, because we want to get you involved with our live coverage this year. That's what it's all about, you. Watching at home, watching in the service area, watching in the background as acoustic wallpaper while you're doing something else just as important in your life, whatever it is. All you got to do is get involved. Put a comment, get involved in the discussion under one of the live streams on YouTube, on Facebook, on specialstage.tv, on Motorsport UK TV. And you'll go in the draw to win one of those T-shirts. We give one away on every single live stream this season, thanks to Dan Elmore's Rallying His Life brand, our clothing partner here at Special Stage. There's Alistair Hutchinson. John Dykes in the Clio Maxi, great looking car that. Doesn't do many gravel rallies actually. Had a top 20 and a class victory on the Galloway Hills last year. This year's been a mix of asphalt and circuit events in that little Clio Maxi, but it's always good to see it out, and he was going well there, wasn't he? Pushing on down the hill, no sideways antics, no ditch hooking from the Clio pair. Going to join you on a special stage on Facebook for the discussion for a short while as we await, should be a very special car, Glyn Lyons and Joseph Pattison in the Sierra Cosworth. As Rob Hornshaw asks when the Jag is due. The Jag has been through and almost had a moment. I'll come to that in a moment. There it is. Glyn starting his rallying in 1991 in the Mark II Escort. Probably at that point dreamt of graduating to a Sierra Cosworth, and it happened 20 years later. It's never too late, and I do like the livery on that car. It's a car I love to see out. The Group A phenomenon, doing the rounds and really coming back in historic rallying, isn't it? It's been the source of much debate. I won't say controversy, it's not quite that dramatic, but certainly debate. But Group A is back, like it or not. And we're looking forward to seeing what happens there as well. George Lepley, Baz Jordan, number of drivers, Kev Proctor, all with Group A cars and all hard chargers on gravel and on asphalt. Yeah, Ed came through, Ed Abbott in the Jaguar XJS, and pulled over to let Dale Glover through, but what they both didn't realise was Michael Jenkins and Jordan Joins were enjoying a Tuts Clump special stage cider in the Killer Kielder ditch just around the corner. They weren't really, but they were in a ditch. And the Jaguar pulled over to let the Alpha Sud through. I'm pinching myself at all this variety I'm talking about here. And then the Alpha Sud just managed to miss the Fiesta, and the Jaguar then got going and just sauntered past. But yeah, we saw it through already, so you'll be able to watch that back later if you're watching on YouTube or at specialstage.tv. You'll be able to rewind live TV. Anthony Hansen, Brad Surby, I mentioned them a few minutes ago, started rallying in 1983 in a Chevette HSR. I'm not sure if it's that one. I believe it probably was. Best result has been 7th overall on the 1989 Grisdale stages. Still rallying Chevette all these years later. 41 years of rallying and 41 years sat in the seat staring out of that bulging bonnet. Oh, that doesn't half look good, doesn't it? Douglas Menzies. Graham Menzies in the Mark II. Only been rallying 3 years. Came 6th in Class D3 on the RAC last year. It's a great looking car, and it's not the only car to have that similar kind of works livery. That we see on a few of the Escorts, the Motorcraft, the blue and white Motorcraft livery. Bonami Grimes, Matt Edwards, who should be up next. A brace of cars in that livery. Look at that. How good does that car look? That's absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's a brand new Viking Motorsport built Mark II. Matthew Robinson actually in a brand new Mark II as well. A Cartech built car. Looking forward to seeing that through. We haven't seen him in a new car for quite some time, have we? I'll tell you what. Bonami Grimes' co-driver list reads like a who's who of British co-drivers. And drivers, for that matter. Patrick Walsh, Will Atkins, Martin Rowe, Dale Furnish. Count the championships between this lot. And now, today, here at the Kielder Forest Rally, 3-time British Rally champion, Matt Edwards. Bonami came 4th in a Porsche on last year's East African Safari Rally. I think Martin Rowe was actually in with him on that one, wasn't he? In the Tussil Porsche. Here in that glorious Viking Motorsport car. And the Paul Woodford bingo is alive and well. I use the word glorious a lot, but that's why. There's Johnny Hepworth, Dave Boyce. None of these competitors in this little batch here, registered for BTRDA points, but our sponsors Protyre and the championship BTRDA are keen to make sure we include everybody here for your entertainment. But the story today on this live coverage on special stages of the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. Johnny, by the way, another driver to have only driven a Mark II in his career, started in 2016. But he's only done one other rally this year, the Raponian, where he came 5th in class. There's Jeremy Easton, Mike Reynolds, still Mr. Datsun. But that Uniflow-esque liveried Mark I looks beautiful. Great to see a Mark I Escort out on these stages. He was Cat 5, Category 5, British Historic Rally Champion in the class in 2023, so the Escort is clearly a good fit for Jeremy. I do like that we've got two of those Hannu Mikkola Motorcraft liveried-ish Mark IIs following each other through the stage there. That's going to make a great photo. We need to make sure we're back to the finish in time for a photo of those two part together at the finish. Wayne Goldring. Okay, so a bit of an update from the service area. Sally Ann Banks, it's not the pits, this is not racing. From Team BTS Motorsport, Will Banks, Matthew Badley. Denis, the rally dog, is in fact, it is a French name. Okay, that's fine then, we're okay with that. But Will actually did say it's called Denis. So, yeah, you should pronounce it right, Will. Okay, Denis Finch Hatton, named after. I don't know who that is, but it at least confirms our suspicions. Poor dog, won't know whether it's coming or going. Sally calling it Denis, and Will calling it Dennis. And me not being quite sure. Anyway, we move on. Welcome if you've just tuned in. We're talking about rally dogs, as you might expect. It could have been rally monkeys, quite a few of them in Barbados a couple of weeks ago. What an adventure that was. What an adventure this man is having on the stages. It's such a short rally career so far. Jack Mathewson, Josh Carr alongside in the Bangers and Cash Mark II. It's only Jack's 5th rally. Miles Cartwright often alongside him. It's Josh Carr here in Kielder this weekend. And he started rallying last year, already has 3 class podiums, including a class win. He's a fast boy and he's a lovely bloke. He's a real character. He's just as he comes across on the TV show. And we had some fun yesterday with the Ignition Motorsport guys with this special stage cider competition that they've got going on, doing a bit of filming down there. And you would think that Jack would be used to being in front of the camera, but it took 2 takes. Mind you, I took 2 takes as well when I did mine. Sat in front of the Jag. So stay tuned for that video. I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but it will be a lot of fun, I know that much. Rural Ready Mix, I'm pretty sure that's the name of a cement, not a name of a person, but is watching from the very wet Isle of Man. We were there a few weeks ago. One of my favourite places to go in the world, especially to go rallying. There's a man who has been so fast this season in that historic car, leads the Silver Star, leads the Historic Cup. He's first in the H3, H4 class. He's taken 2 seconds and a third in the Historic Cup so far this season with pace and with driving style just like that. Steve Corky Ward, Phil Sandham alongside. Steve turned 70 last week and is still one of our handiest exports in a Mark II, isn't he? Not that we export him that often, but you know what I mean. And Phil turns 75 next week, having enjoyed, what is it, just quick maths here, 43 years his rally career has been so far. A lot of experience inside that car, and that is why they come here leading the way in the Silver Star standings here in the Protyre BTRDA Rally Series. By the way, BTRDA Rally Results.co.uk is where you need to be to get your live results. We will give you a bit of a results rundown. Hopefully in between the 2 fields as we're reverse seeded for the 2-wheel drives. And then we go correct seeded after a short gap for the 4-wheel drives, giving me a chance to catch a breath and look at the results for you. John Lowe, Cliffy Simmons there. His rally car history, I always like to look at that before I do a rally, reads as a bit of a try before you buy. Spent 6 years rallying in a Nova, then did 1 rally in a Satria, a Proton, and then took a break for 8 years before coming back in a Mark II. I'm not sure what that says about Proton Satrias, but it certainly didn't do anything for John Lowe's rally career, did it? Mike and Mandy Willwood are watching from the Isle of Man as well. Alan Turner's watching from Abu Dhabi. Enjoying the coverage, not missing the midges though. No, I'm not enjoying the midges. I've never wanted rain before, but I want a bit of wind and rain to get rid of the midges now. There's a real Middle East feel going on here on the special stage rally stream. David Roberts watching from Saudi Arabia. Colin Rowe Jones watching from Pershore in Worcestershire. Right back down to earth there and enjoying the coverage as well. Jamie Ganley, one of our cameramen, tuned in. Hello, Jamie. Shame you're not out with us this weekend. Hope you're having a good one, though. Weekend off. What's that all about? I had one of those last weekend to recover from sunburn and rum. Charlotte Wainwright should really be here, shouldn't she? Yes, watching from a sunny, for now, Blyton Park. Of course, there's a rally on, isn't there, at Blyton? Blyton's got rallying back. That's good news. About 15 minutes from my house as well, so that's even better news. Although I'm over here in Northumberland, so that didn't quite work out. Charlotte saying the rain looks like it's on its way for Blyton. The rain looks like it's on its way here as well. Richard Wise enjoying the coverage whilst doing his notes for Argyle next week. Will that be a midge event too? Well, you won't mind, Richard, because you'll have your slider open, the airflow in the car. It'll be us stood by the side of the stage. I'm going to take a sock and just put it over my head for Argyle next week. The one thing, I'm really looking forward to Argyle, next round of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, but one thing I'm not looking forward to is the drive up. Oh my goodness me. I'm having to park my car at Phil Sandham's house and take a bus. Oh, another R2 Fiesta, three-wheeling, waving a wheel in the air there.